Hello, I'm Wendy Garcars from the Micro Business Growth Club, and this session is about procrastination, or the art of putting off until tomorrow what could easily be done today. Some of us are worse than this than others, but lots of people through their working life do experience procrastination. Essentially, it's a delaying tactic that takes the pressure off needing to produce a result immediately. If you're not sure whether you've ever suffered from procrastination, then if you've ever heard yourself say one of these things, it's quite possible that you have. Oh, well, I won't start that now because it might take too long. Or, I'm already really busy. Or, it's complicated and I'm not sure how to start. Or, it requires a lot of focus and now's not the right time for me. There are others. There's a lot riding on the result, and it feels uncomfortable. Starting it now is dependent on other people or other things that haven't happened yet. I've put it off for so long that to start it now would draw attention to the fact that I've been procrastinating. There's lots and lots of phrases like that we hear all of the time, and usually procrastination is linked to them. The difficulty is that if you procrastinate, it essentially means that you're building up work further down the track that has to be done at some point. And you can create bottlenecks in your own work schedule that create real difficulties for you, particularly the closer to deadlines that you get. So how do you stop doing it? Well, the first thing is you've got to catch yourself doing it so that you identify that you are procrastinating. Once you've done that, you need to regain your perspective, really start to see the issue for what it is. And you've got to start being honest with yourself. If you are procrastinating, you need to be admitting that and then doing something about it. And it really is relatively simple. Ask yourself the following questions. What's the worst thing that could happen if I started this now? That takes the guesswork out of it. What are the consequences of me not doing this at all? That takes the fear out of it. And can I live with that? Action kills procrastination stone dead. So, if you don't want to procrastinate and save up a heap of problems for yourself further down the track, start catching yourself doing it now. The reality is that you're your own worst enemy when you are a procrastinator. You do have solutions in your head for every problem that you face, but you may not necessarily recognise those, and you certainly may not always ask for help when you need it. For me, the thing that I always say is, if I was going to do this today, what would be the first 3 steps I'd need to take? So essentially, I'm giving myself a starting point. How would I start it? And you can always think of 3 things that you could do to begin a particular problem, no matter how challenging it might be. The other thing is, ask yourself who else needs to know this. So who are you going to make yourself accountable to make sure that that procrastination doesn't continue? There's been lots of writing that's been done about procrastination. Mark Twain once said, eat a frog first thing in the morning and nothing worse will happen to you for the rest of the day. And Brian Tracy took that quote and actually wrote a whole treatise around the whole thing around procrastination. And essentially what he said was, if you've got tasks that you are procrastinating around and you're really reluctant to start them, do them first thing in the morning when your energy levels are high, when you can focus, and when you've got some motivation. Get them out of the way, and then you can do the other things later on. My favourite saying is, get the crappy tasks done first, and then you're left to tackle the rest of the day with some of the nicer things waiting for you. You need to kick the habit, essentially. So, build anticipation for the thing that you're putting off doing by something else that you love doing. So, if you are tackling a particularly problematic writing exercise, then listen to your favourite music while you're doing it. Make yourself accountable to someone who you respect. Tell them what you want to achieve and when you want to achieve it by, and then keep in contact so that they can check on your progress. That accountability is essential. You may not feel that you have to do something if the accountability is in your head, but if somebody else is going to check on you, then you're more likely to stick to it and you're more likely to do it. And finally, do it. Do one procrastination task first thing in the morning, get it out of the way, and then you can get on with the rest of your day. Don't let procrastination hold you to ransom. Particularly when you're running a business, it can be difficult enough as it is without giving yourself additional bottlenecks further down the line. So, start eating those frogs. You'll really notice a difference, I promise.